To date, I will be showing you guys how to install an Arch Linux system and reach a desktop like this. I will also be showing what sort of things you can and may want to do after setting up an Arch install. Without further ado, let's get into it. So I will be using the Arch install script. If you're a beginner, I would always recommend you install Arch the way it was intended to, that is, using the installation guide on the Arch wiki. But if you want to set up a system quickly, the Arch install script works well. After landing on this prompt, you can simply start the script by typing arch install and pressing enter. So we are now in the script. Let's first pick our language. I'll set mine to English. For the mirrors, you should pick a mirror closest to you. That way you will have the fastest download speeds. In my case, I'll just select worldwide. Next, let's go to layouts. You just need to select your preferred layout. For me, English US is fine. I will select that and I'll go back. Next is partitioning. Here, just choose best effort partitioning. This will set you up with everything you need. If you want to partition things yourself, say for example, making your root directory bigger or setting up logical volumes, then go with manual partitioning. In the best effort partitioning, it will do an efficient partition scheme for you. Just choose the drive you want to use. Usually it's named SDA or NVMe. For me, it's VDA. Just press space to select and press enter. For file system, just go with the ext4. I've used XFS before as well, and that works fine too. But for this install, I'll choose ext4. Next is encryption. If you were setting this up on real hardware, I would definitely use encryption. It will prompt you for a password twice, so just give it the password and you're good. Now for the bootloader, I would just select grub. I usually don't use swap, so let's say no. Okay, for the hostname. You can give it whatever you want to name your system. Now we need to provide a root password. Just give it a password and press enter. Then let's add a user. Give it a username and then a password. Usually I use the same password as the root password. You could do the same for the sake of convenience. The profile section is important. Here you will get to choose what type of Arch setup you will end up with. Desktop if you want to use it as a normal computer. Minimal if you want the bare minimum system which you could build up later. There is also server if you are setting this up as solely a server system. And xorg if you simply want xorg to be installed and you want to manually add an environment not available in the script. So just choose desktop as it pre-configures everything for us. You can choose any of the following environments. For myself, I will go with KDE Plasma. You can always choose more than one, of course. Just press space to select and press enter to confirm. For graphics driver, just choose the driver corresponding to your graphics card. If you use Intel with integrated graphics, choose Intel. For AMD graphics cards, choose AMD. For NVIDIA, if your hardware is relatively new, then go with this one. Else if your system is a bit older, go with this one. But if you want the most out of your gaming experience, go with the proprietary drivers. In my case, I will just go with the default. For a greeter, you can choose any of these. In my case, I will choose Ly or LY or however it's called, since it looks really cool. Now after pressing enter, go back. For audio server, I would just go with Pulse Audio. I've personally had some weird glitches and issues with PyPI, so I tend to just default to Pulse Audio. For the kernel, just go with the default Linux kernel. But if you want better security, go with Linux Hardened. If you want stability, then go with Long-Term Support Release or LTS. If you want performance, then I would go with Linux then. Here I will be choosing the default kernel, but the process will be the same for all of them. For additional packages, you'll want a web browser, so I will install Firefox. For networking, just go with Network Manager. It will set up everything for you. For time zone, you can select your location and it will set up the time. For automatic NTP, just leave it as true. After that, If you use Steam or play games a lot, I would enable multi-lib. If you don't want to enable this now, you can always do this later. The process is pretty straightforward. After that, go down to install and press enter to begin. When it's done installing, it will ask you if you want to change root and go into your new system. I would just say no and restart my machine. After it's done, it will reboot and you will be met with this grub menu. Press enter and it will boot your new system. Enter your login and password and there you go. You will have a fully functional archlinux setup with KDE Plasma installed. It's so elegant and beautiful. Let me just change the wallpaper and theming a bit and I will show you the things I would want to have on my new bare bones archlinux install. The most important thing you should do after an arch install is to go to the pacman configuration and add a vital feature that pacman needs. Perfection. Next, I would install microcode. This will be different if you have an Intel or an AMD CPU. If you have an Intel CPU, do sudo pacman-s intel-u code. If you have an AMD CPU, then use AMD-u code instead. After that, I would suggest you install these packages on your Arch system. These are packages I think are useful. For example, these fonts will make your Firefox text look nicer. I also included a few spell checking packages, so if you are doing any word processing or text editing, you can have a spell checker available. Also, I included some media plugins as well, and a firewall to secure your system, as well as dnscrypt-proxy for privacy on a DNS level. LibreOffice so you can type your documents, VLC for media, and kdeconnect to seamlessly connect your desktop and phone. Don't worry, I will have this command in the description so you can just copy it from there if you want. After that, we can let this run. With all the packages installed, let's begin finishing the setup. Go back to your desktop and search for gufw. Give it your password and then here on status, toggle it on and you're good to go. Next, let's finish setting up the dnscrypt-proxy. First, edit this file. Edit with sudo privileges. Here, make listen addresses empty. Then edit this file called resolve.conf. And add the following. Then finally, run this command to start the system service. Next, you would probably want to install apps from the AUR. I usually don't use the AUR, but if you want to, you can do that by doing the following. First, go to the GitHub page for Yay. Then install the required packages. Now download the Yay package and cd into EA and type make pkg-si. After that is done, it should be working. To install apps like Chrome using EA, just type EA-S Google-Chrome and there you go. You can see Google Chrome is installed and working properly. You can do the same for Spotify as well. Sometimes people want applications like Discord. Just do a pacman-s Discord. Okay guys, so that was my quick walkthrough on installing archlinux and some of the general things I do after finishing my installation. If you want to know more, you could always visit the Arch Wiki and go through the installation guide and general recommendations. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.